Ever scroll through your feed and wonder about that one friend who never posts? You see them liking things, maybe leaving a rare comment, but their own page is a ghost town. Meanwhile, another friend is sharing every meal, every thought, every sunset. What's the psychology behind this huge difference in how we use social media? Are the silent ones unhappy? Or are they onto a secret we're all missing? Let's dive into the world of the social media silent. It's not about being antisocial or having nothing to say. For many, it's a conscious choice. They're the observers, the listeners of the digital world. Think about it. In any real-life conversation, not everyone is talking at once. Some people are absorbing, processing, and enjoying the moment without feeling the need to narrate it. The same is true online. These users often value their privacy more, or they simply don't feel the need for external validation that can come from likes and comments. They're living their lives, not documenting them. On the flip side, we have the active sharers. Sharing can be a beautiful way to connect, to build community, and to express creativity. It helps us feel seen and understood, especially when we're far from loved ones. Psychologically, sharing can trigger a release of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. Every time we get a notification, it's a rewarding loop. There's nothing inherently wrong with this, but it's worth asking, are we sharing to connect, or are we sharing to cope? Are we curating a life for an audience, or are we truly living it? This brings us to a really interesting idea, the difference between experiencing something and capturing something. Have you ever been at a concert, so busy trying to get the perfect video that you barely remember the actual performance? The silent users often prioritize the experience itself. They believe that the moment is for them, not for their followers. They find that being fully present, without the filter of a screen, makes the memory richer and more personal. They're not anti-social media, they're pro-reality. They're choosing to be the star of their own life, not just the director of its online movie. So, what does this all mean for us? It's not about judging whether it's better to be a lurker or a sharer. It's about finding a balance that feels right for you. Maybe it means putting your phone away during dinner. Maybe it means sharing something because it genuinely brought you joy, not because you think it will get a lot of likes. Maybe it's about understanding that someone's online silence doesn't mean they're absent from your life. It might just mean they're more present in their own. Next time you're about to post, take a second, ask yourself, am I sharing this to enhance my experience, or to replace it? The answer might surprise you. Ultimately, the most valuable social network is the one we have in the real world. Let us make sure we're not so busy building our digital profiles that we forget to live the life they're supposed to represent. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe for more insights. See you next time. Have you ever noticed how much noise surrounds us every single day? Traffic, notifications, music, conversations, it's a constant barrage. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for clarity, creativity, and connection is something we rarely experience? I'm talking about silence. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Silence, isn't that just empty, boring? Well, for a long time, I thought so too. I used to fill every quiet moment with a podcast, a video, or just my own endless internal chatter. The idea of just sitting in silence felt uncomfortable, almost unproductive. But then I started experimenting with it, and what I discovered completely changed my perspective. See, silence isn't the absence of something. It's the presence of everything. When you intentionally step away from the noise, you create a space for your own thoughts to rise to the surface. It's like letting the muddy water in a glass settle until it becomes crystal clear. Neuroscientists have actually found that silence can help our brains grow new cells in the hippocampus, the region associated with memory and learning. It literally helps our brains recharge and rebuild. Think about it. When do your best ideas usually pop up? For many people, it's not during a loud brainstorming session. It's in the shower, on a quiet walk, or right before falling asleep. These are moments of relative silence, where your mind is free to wander and make new connections without being constantly interrupted. Silence is the soil where creativity and insight can truly blossom. But the benefits go way beyond just good ideas. Embracing silence can profoundly reduce stress and anxiety. The constant stimulation of modern life keeps our nervous systems in a state of high alert. By taking silence breaks, you give your system a chance to calm down. It lowers your cortisol levels and blood pressure, leading to a feeling of deep relaxation. It's like a mini vacation for your mind, and you don't even have to pack a bag. It also dramatically improves our relationships. How often are we truly listening to someone without already planning our reply in our head? When we practice being silent, we become better listeners. We start hearing not just the words people are saying, but the emotions and intentions behind them. Pausing before you speak in a conversation can feel incredibly powerful. It shows the other person you're truly absorbing what they've said, and it gives you a moment to formulate a more thoughtful, genuine response instead of just reacting. So, how can you bring more of this power into your life? You don't need to go on a 10-day silent retreat unless you want to. It can be as simple as starting your day with 5 minutes of quiet, just sitting and breathing before you check your phone. Or try taking a walk without headphones, paying attention to the sounds of nature around you. You could even practice the art of the pause in your next conversation. The point isn't to eliminate all sound from your life. It's about being intentional. It's about carving out small pockets of quiet to reconnect with yourself, boost your creativity, and deepen your connections with others. The world will always be loud, but by embracing silence, you can find your own inner quiet, a peaceful center in the middle of the storm. Give it a try. You might be surprised by what you hear when you finally stop to listen. Thanks so much for watching. If this idea resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on living a more intentional life. See you in the next one. Have you ever scrolled through your feed and thought, what if I just quit? What would actually happen to my brain if I deleted all my social media apps right now? It's a tempting thought, but the reality is more complex than just getting a few hours back in your day. Let's dive into the fascinating psychological journey of logging off for good. First up, let's talk about identity. For many of us, our social media profile is a carefully curated version of who we are, or who we want to be. It's our highlight reel. When you remove that, you're left with, well, you, just you. In the real world, this can be jarring at first. You might feel a sense of loss, like a part of your identity has vanished. Who are you without the witty captions, the perfect selfies, or the shared articles that signal your beliefs? The good news is, this void creates an incredible opportunity. You start to rebuild your sense of self based on your real-life actions, thoughts, and relationships, not on the performance you put on for an online audience. It's a shift from an external, curated identity to a more authentic, internal one. Next, we have to address the feedback loop. Likes, shares, comments, these are all little hits of dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel good. Social media platforms are designed to be addictive, hooking us into this cycle of posting and waiting for validation. When you quit, you cut off this supply. The first few days, or even weeks, can feel like withdrawal. You might feel anxious, bored, or even a little lonely. Your brain is literally missing its regular feel-good chemical boosts. But stick with it, because something amazing happens. Your brain starts to recalibrate. You begin to find satisfaction and validation from other sources, finishing a project, having a deep conversation with a friend, or mastering a new skill. The pleasure becomes deeper and more meaningful because it's earned, not just double-tapped. This leads us to the little voice inside our heads. Have you noticed how much of our internal monologue is influenced by social media? We think in terms of captions. We imagine how an experience would look on our story, and we constantly compare our behind-the-scenes life to everyone else's highlight reel. Quitting social media quiets that noise. Your own internal voice gets a chance to be heard again. Without the constant chatter of trends, opinions, and comparisons, you start to think more clearly. Your creativity can flourish without being shaped by what's popular, and you become more present in your own life. You stop observing your life as if for an audience and start actually living it. It's like turning down the volume on the world and finally hearing your own thoughts. And finally, let's talk about privacy. We've grown so accustomed to sharing everything, from our breakfast to our deepest feelings, that we often forget the value of privacy. Quitting social media is like taking back control of your personal narrative. You decide who gets to know what about you, and you share it in more intimate, meaningful ways. Your life becomes your own again, not a piece of content to be consumed by strangers or algorithms. There's a profound sense of peace and security that comes from reclaiming your private space. You're no longer performing, you're just being. So, quitting social media isn't just about breaking a bad habit. It's a profound psychological reset. It's a journey of rediscovering your true identity, rewiring your brain's reward system, reclaiming your internal voice, and restoring your privacy. It can be challenging, but the potential rewards for your mental well-being are immense. It's about choosing a life that's lived, not just displayed. Thanks so much for watching. If this got you thinking, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into our modern world. See you next time. When everything becomes shareable, some of that intimacy disappears. A private memory carries a different emotional texture than a public one. It belongs fully to the people who experienced it. And for individuals who value that feeling, constant posting can start to feel like giving away pieces of something personal. So they simply decide not to. Not out of rebellion, not out of judgment toward others, just out of preference. Another pattern that appears among people who rarely post online is a stronger sense of presence. Presence means being mentally engaged with the moment that is happening right now, not thinking about how it will look later, not imagining the caption that might accompany it, just experiencing it as it unfolds. This ability is becoming increasingly rare in environments where attention is constantly divided. Phones vibrate, notifications appear, apps encourage quick updates. Even during meaningful events, it's easy for part of the mind to drift toward documentation. But when someone has stepped away from that habit, the mental space around experiences becomes different. They watch more carefully, they listen longer, they absorb more details, and because their attention is less fragmented, their memories of those moments often become richer. Psychologists sometimes describe memory as being closely connected to attention. The more focused your attention is during an experience, the stronger the memory tends to become later. When attention is divided between experiencing something and presenting it, that memory can become thinner. So ironically, the people who share fewer moments online may actually carry stronger memories of those moments in their minds. But perhaps the most interesting effect of staying silent on social media is something harder to measure: a sense of authorship. Authorship is the feeling that your life belongs to you, that the experiences you have are shaped by your choices rather than by expectations from an invisible audience. For many people, the constant possibility of sharing creates a subtle pressure to make life appear interesting. Moments are sometimes chosen not only because they feel meaningful, but because they will look meaningful. But when someone removes that audience from the equation, their decisions start to shift. Activities become about enjoyment rather than presentation. Conversations become about connection rather than documentation. And ordinary experiences regain their value without needing to be displayed. This doesn't mean social media itself is harmful. Like most tools, its impact depends on how it's used. For many people, it helps maintain friendships, share creativity, and stay connected across distance. But the existence of people who choose silence reminds us of something important. Participation is optional. You don't have to document every chapter of your life for it to count. You don't have to broadcast every experience for it to be meaningful. And sometimes the most genuine moments are the ones that remain completely unseen by the internet. So if you're someone who rarely posts, or someone who has stepped back from sharing your life online, it doesn't necessarily mean you're disconnected from the world. In many cases, it means you've chosen a different relationship with attention, identity, and privacy. One where your experiences belong primarily to you. And in a culture built around constant visibility, that quiet choice may say more about self-awareness than people initially realize.